Yes, guys, what's happening? And welcome back to the channel and welcome to tonight's live stream. And Chelsea are the world champions. We've done it. We've won it all.
We've won it
all. We've won it all. We've won it all. We've won it all. A 2-1 win against Palmeiras, the Brazilian side, after extra time. It was hard fought. It wasn't pretty, but ultimately, all that matters in these finals is getting that trophy in the cabinet, and that's exactly what we did. A goal from Romelu Lukaku and a penalty from Kai Havertz 4 minutes from the end of extra time, seeing us across the line. But as I said, it wasn't easy. Palmeiras were hard to break down. They got a penalty, got themselves back in the game. And at times I thought, well, maybe it's not going to happen. But we finally completed the set. We're the world champions. We've won everything there is to win as a football club. Azpilicueta's won every single trophy that's possible to win at Chelsea, becoming the first player in the club's history to do so. So big up to him. And bro, it wasn't easy, was it? As I said, but I mean, how does it feel? World champions. I know, other teams will say, oh, it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse Cup, doesn't really matter. But ultimately, like, it's a trophy we've not won, and every trophy you're in, you've got to win it.
Yeah, we've won it all, mate. I don't really know what else to say. It's like, I think a lot of other clubs who aren't involved in the trophy basically see it as like non-eventful. But yeah, in terms of our history at the club, I think it's huge for us, and I couldn't be happier. The game was whack. The game
it was awful.
From a form standpoint, it's concerning. I was at the Plymouth game. That was bad, but we get the results. Chelsea win. That's what we do. So I don't really know what else to say about it. It's sort of conflicting. Very happy to have won.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, obviously, like, we're not going to take the gloss off the win, but yeah, it's a bigger discussion to have that at the moment we're literally scraping by in virtually every game we play, and like, obviously going forwards, we can't carry on like that. But ultimately, the trophy's in the bag, and obviously, I think the significance of this match was not lost on the club. Roman Abramovich was in attendance. He's a trophy winning machine. He loves winning trophies. This was the one that had eluded him. The fact that he turned up, just goes to show how much this means to the club. It means to him, and how important it is. But I mean, yeah, the performance itself was awful. It really was. But I mean, that doesn't matter. Thomas Tuchel now with a second trophy this season to go with the Super Cup. He's virtually won everything at Chelsea. Obviously got a League Cup opportunity next in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, the league's still eluding us, but just how important in terms of history for the club it is this day. I know it's not like a massive trophy as such, but to add that elusive one, and what makes it special to me is, that what you have to do to get there. It's not necessarily, beating Palmeiras, beating Al Hilal. It's the fact you have to win the Champions League to get there. It makes it so hard to get there, which makes this all the more rewarding.
It's a coveted spot, no doubt. Like, I don't know. I think it's important for us when you take the long view at the club's history and our silverware. It's also important short term. I heard one of the commentators talking about, that this sort of a win here has quietened some of the clamour around Tuchel's future at the club. Tuchel's future at the club? What are you talking about? He's the best postural manager for us, but that stuff can be distracting. That stuff can begin to get noisy, and if we lost that, it would have become increasingly noisy. So it's an important game for us to win, not least because it's a cup final, but it's but not least because it's a final, but also in the short term for us to sort of get back on the horse a little bit. I don't think we necessarily did that form-wise, but a win of this kind and the celebrations and the attention that comes with it can help a side kickstart their journey back into playing with a bit more swagger and a bit more confidence, which is what we're lacking at the moment.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, or even the so-called smaller trophies, like winning the Super Cup at the start of the season, winning this now, it just gives us a little bit of a boost to push on for the rest of the season. Winning trophies is always a good thing. Doesn't matter how big or how small they are. And that, I think that can really, galvanize us, and we can push forward for the remainder of the season. We are at the moment, we're not playing good football, but we are getting results. Hopefully this can, push us on. Hopefully, we can win the League Cup final. If we're gonna beat Liverpool in that League Cup final, we're gonna have to play a lot better. But hopefully, this will galvanise us. But it's just so good to be alive in a time where we've seen Chelsea do something for the first time in their history. It's never happened before at this football club. It's exciting times to see that, and it's a great for the fans and fantastic for all the Chelsea fans that made the trip out to Abu Dhabi. Fair play to them. They've been rewarded with a great evening and to round off what's probably been a memorable trip for them. But in terms of the game itself, I mean, there are a couple of changes from the lineup for the semi-final. Callum Hudson-Odoi coming in at left wing back for Marcus Alonso. We had Kante in for Jorginho, and we also had Mason Mount in for Hakim Ziyech. I have to say I was a little bit surprised at a couple of those selections. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter now, and obviously in Tuchel we trust. But I mean, the fact that Hakim Ziyech didn't start, I was surprised by that. I was a little bit surprised to see Callum Hudson-Odoi at left wing back. Not a disaster at all by any means. Mate, any surprises for you? Were you surprised that Ziyech was overlooked, considering he's been our most influential forward in recent weeks?
Yeah, I was disappointed by that. Also, when he comes on, wizard, as always, really injects that. And he's just the kind of player that you need to unlock something when you're out of form. So I thought it was a strange decision. I thought the game was kind of full of strange decisions in a way.
Yeah, mate, some of the subs were really odd.
Lukaku coming off. I don't know. Havertz, of course, went on to score the pen, but I was kind of expecting to see him go off. I don't know. I thought it was a bit of a little kind of strange selection, strange management throughout. But then, of course, we got the win, so you can't really complain. I mean, I was disappointed not to see Ziyech start. He's my guy. I love him, and it was a shame and a little bit confusing given his recent form. But then again, you get the win, so it's a strange thing about where you draw the line in between decisions post a win. It's like, well,
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of irrelevant now because we won. But in the context of the game and how the game was balanced, I did think it was really odd to take Lukaku and Callum Hudson-Odoi off, who had just combined for the goal, to then go with Timo Werner and Saul Niguez. It was odd, but ultimately, I suppose it kind of works, I guess. But I mean, you look at it and you think, we deployed 3 different formations in that game. We started with our traditional back 5. We then went to a back 4 for periods, and then we went with a 3-5-2. It seemed like we were all over the place.
Totally, but going back to the Lukaku thing momentarily, and I completely agree formation-wise, Lukaku was just beginning to tick.
Yeah, he was that goal gave him confidence, and then he was off.
Back, nice little layoff, missed opportunity from Pulisic. Like feeling as though he's got a little bit of presence back. You could tell that it was a nice moment for him to get that goal. Big goal for him. Could have gone on and got another one, which would have been huge. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder what's going. I wonder what. I'd love to know what actually the atmosphere is in and around Lukaku, his relationship with Tuchel.
Well, there's a nice picture with him. Picture of him and Didier after the game on the pitch. Obviously, one king of the bridge, the other, well, not quite yet, but there's potential. But this was on Lukaku. You might as well talk about him. This was a big couple of games for him. I know the opposition aren't great, but he's massively contributed to us winning that Club World Cup, and I think that's only a positive. For a guy that's had such a decorated career in terms of being at successful clubs, scoring loads and loads of goals. He has only won a couple of trophies. The Belgian league he won, and he won Serie A.
Was that last
year? Last season. So like in terms of major trophies, not many. So this was a big moment for him as well. And I felt over the 2 games he did really step up. And it's moments, that's what you pay the big money for. You can have a centre forward that's out the game for like 89 minutes, and it just takes one. You need one header, and no one else in that side is doing that. And Callum Hudson-Odoi again. Fairly not a great game, but one moment of quality, and ultimately that's what you're paying for. That is the quality. So for Lukaku, I thought this was a really positive step on the road back to redemption. I know he's not a fan favourite with a lot of fans at the moment, but this was a big step in the right direction, and ultimately he is going to score. he's going to score us the goals that are going to win us trophies, because no one else in that side is really a goal scorer. So I thought this week away, this couple of games was a big plus for Rob, and hopefully he can push on now. We've got League Cup final coming up. We've got return of the Champions League. This is this is big for him.
Yeah, I agree. And also, it was kind of interesting. I was watching a little bit of the crowd and Lukaku's celebration and stuff like that. I think it was kind of interesting to see. You forget being a Londoner and being like going to Stamford Bridge and not going to too many away games, but being in England as a supporter of Chelsea, it's easy to forget the international support that there is for the club and the global fan base that there is for the club. And I think that the reaction in the UK, because of the media output in the UK around the Lukaku situation with his interview and shit like that, was very different in the UK to it was internationally. I saw his name being chanted by the fans. I think maybe it was actually quite nice for him to play outside of England and not feel maybe the slight tension that you do feel in and around Lukaku among the Stamford Bridge faithful at the moment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think that was like refreshing and interesting and a kind of interesting additional take on that Lukaku story. And hopefully he's able to take the decent form that he's come from back to the league and push on. If he starts scoring goals, any kind of bogey or monkey on his back is just going to disappear.
Yeah, no, 100%, and it's going to be a big moment for him going forward, and a real chance for him to potentially turn his second Chelsea career around. And he's, as I said, it's definitely a step in the right direction. But in terms of that first half, it really was poor. Not an awful lot of opportunities at all. Thiago Silva's shot from distance probably the best chance of that first half. Palmeiras sitting deep. They were quite dangerous on the break. They had a couple of opportunities where they did get in behind. Dudu was looking dangerous there, winger. But from a Chelsea perspective, that first half really was quite awful, wasn't it? Just slow, taking too long on the ball. There seems to be a complete lack of width down that right-hand side, particularly in the second half. But everything seems to be going down the left. I mean, what did you make of that first half? It wasn't great.
I thought the whole game was poor.
Yeah.
I thought they were average. I thought we were average. I thought they were average. I thought, we need to be picking these guys off. You put Manchester City out there, and that's 4-0. That's 3 or 4-0. You've got to imagine. I don't.
Well, they're not going to struggle as much as we did. I wouldn't have thought.
You've got to imagine. Given the amount of ball that we were gifted or that we were able to win high up the pitch, and the positions that we got ourselves in, and our final pass and our quality in the final third is just
quality from set plays was dreadful today. It's such poor delivery.
Really, really weak. I can imagine Lukaku being frustrated. And along with a lot of the other team, I can imagine Tuchel being frustrated about how we're performing. I don't know. It feels like we're sort of lacking imagination and also lacking in confidence, lacking on that strong first touch and that decisive final pass.
Yeah.
I just thought strange.
I mean, Palmeiras did, fair play to them. They defended well. They sat deep. And they tried to hit us on the counter attack. It's tough to break. It is tough to break teams down that just come and sit and defend. But that's what that's what a lot of teams are going to do against Chelsea. And we have to find a way to do it. I mean, in previous years we've kind of got away with. We've been able to do it because we've had a game changer in Eden Hazard that can do something out of nothing, and that's kind of how we've got through it. We don't have someone that can do something out of nothing like he did. That's why I think we're struggling quite a lot against these low blocks, teams that come and just sit and defend. But yeah, the first half, uneventful, really poor. Second half, not an awful lot better, but one moment of quality. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who I thought had an average game, he wasn't great. A lot of his deliveries were really poor. He has one moment of real quality where he puts a fantastic ball into the box, and Lukaku is there, does what he does best in the penalty box with a fantastic header, and it really was a great goal. And it's funny how, if you provide the big man with good service, he's probably going to score.
I completely agree. I mean, I feel as though in a strange way, this is another, Hudson-Odoi has had his breakout season, but he's providing a lot of quality for us this season. What is it? He's created the most chances.
The most chances in the Premier League for the club. So, he's a bit rough around the edges still and lacks consistency, but he does have the quality to create those opportunities.
Absolutely, and he gets in good positions. I
Yeah.
do feel as though he's just one good goal, one quality finish, or one finish in a big game away from really hitting his stride, and maybe believing within himself that he can do it. I know that he's a high confidence player and he plays with style and flair and he's got a kind of swagger to him, but maybe there's a little bit of sort of internal doubt about whether or not he can actually achieve what it is that he has the potential to at this level. So look, we'll see.
But it was a really good goal.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was
It's a shame that we just can't provide that on a more consistent basis. That quality of ball into the box, it just doesn't seem to happen.
Simple. It looks so simple. It looks so.
Well, it is simple. It's just putting a ball in the box and someone headers it in. But the fact of the matter is, we don't put enough quality balls into the box. And I know obviously Lukaku probably needs to movement-wise maybe do a bit more. But like if you provide him with good service, he will score. But the service is an issue at the moment. So if we can work on our delivery, work on our ball, putting more balls into the box, I think we probably will have more success. But we get the leads. I think we probably deserved it on the run of play in that second half. But then Chelsea, we don't like to make it easy for ourselves at all. And about 15, 20 minutes from the end, some innocuous looking really, a ball goes into the box from Palmeiras, and I mean, I thought possibly at the time, oh, that looks a little bit like a handball. I'm not really sure what Thiago Silva can do when he's jumping for a header, what he can potentially do with his hand. But as soon as it's gone to the VAR, as harsh as you think it is, it's a handball and it is a penalty. And
no judgment. Whatever,
you're not going to hold it against him.
Yeah,
but it's unfortunate. But you're just thinking, oh Jesus, here we go again. Are we gonna? Is this going to be like another Club World Cup we miss out on? We never make it easy for ourselves. The penalty gets converted. I can't actually remember who converts it for Palmeiras. I mean, I can't remember his name, but it was a well taken penalty. Fair play. I mean, bro, at that point, what are you thinking? I mean, I'm thinking like we could be in trouble here. The momentum changed there. We were clinging on a little bit towards the end of the 90 minutes.
I just think Palmeiras quality. I don't like. Obviously they've achieved back-to-back league winners in Brazil?
No, back-to-back Copa Libertadores winners, which is basically the Brazilian Champions League. So they're no mugs. They're one of the best teams in Brazil.
No doubt. I thought they were average today.
They were.
Their pass percentages really offer anything. There was a lot of stuff where we were just over deflect, ending up as through balls to one of their players, and they would just fluff it. I didn't really think that they offered a great deal, and all the problems that we created for ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say. It was sort of Chelsea versus Chelsea today. I mean, and it's a bad time for that game to happen because we're struggling for form in front of goal. We're struggling for form generally, and it was kind of a tricky game to watch. But as we do, particularly in finals, we're able to come out with the win. I never really felt as though that was in doubt. I never really felt as though, even at 1-1, I was like, we're going to win this. I mean, I was worried.
I've got to be honest though, at times I was sitting watching that, I was thinking, how on earth did we win the Champions League when we're playing this bad, when we're playing this badly? You just look back and think, how did we manage that? But
like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I know. I mean, to be honest, like for me, the 5 at the back, I know he obviously goes with it in the big games, the games that matter, the ones with the trophies on the line and stuff. But I'm getting Conte vibes from the second season with this back 5 formation. Like just with the fact, I think it's been worked out. We need to become a bit more adaptable. I think teams know what to expect now to play. Like they know how to play against Chelsea, and we have deployed back 4 and things like that. But yeah, I'm not sure the back 5 is where it's at. I think it really severely hampers our attacking play a lot. I mean, we're so much better going forward.
It feels very sludgy with a back 5.
Yeah, with a back 4, we're so much better going forward. But I mean, at the end of the day, the trophies are in the bag, so you can't really complain too much. But particularly over a consistent league season, we're going to challenge for the league. I think we really do need to potentially play a back 4 or just switch the system up. But what's this? Yeah, great to see the Chelsea shirt with that gold badge on it. 100%. It's already out on the Mega Store. I think as much of a rip-off as it probably is, I'm gonna have to take that purchase. Club World Cup badge with a Champions League winners badge and the little UEFA Foundation badge on it as well. Get that nicely framed up, smash it on the wall. Bit of club history. But yeah, it's going to be great being able to wear that gold badge for the next year until someone else win it, or maybe we can retain it. But yeah, I mean, we go to extra time, bro. And what are you thinking extra time wise?
Can we polish this off? I'm thinking, how are we at extra time? I was thinking almost.
I mean, 2 games in the space of a week, both gone to extra time. And you're just thinking, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, Timo came on in regular time, didn't he?
Timo came on regular time. He did okay. He took a few players on. He beat a few players. But again, it's just like he does that. He does something good, and then he follows it up with something shit. That's the problem. Like, anything Timo does well is then followed up by a really shit piece of play. He can't seem to link 2 good. He'll beat someone, and then he'll play a pass, and then he's offside for the return pass. It's like, seriously, come on. I've never seen a footballer offside as much as Werner or potentially Rashford as well. I just don't understand how these guys are always offside.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It is mad. But I mean, extra
comments. Timo needs to get some confidence.
He does.
Preach.
He does need some confidence. But I mean, you know, extra time. Not much is happening at all, really. Not a lot of chances, really. But we get slightly fortuitous as well. I mean, Azpilicueta up in the box with a shot. And to be fair to Luan, the centre half for Palmeiras, it is pretty close to him, but it does hit his hand, and
his hand doing.
Yeah, I mean, when a handball like that, the ref's going to go to the monitor. It's going to be a penalty. It's kind of just. It's just the way the game is at the moment, how the handball rule is. Is it harsh? Potentially it's a little bit harsh. I think both of them were a bit harsh, but with how the rules are, that they are both stonewall penalties, unfortunately. And you're thinking, oh, yes, this is it. This is our moment to get out of jail, because I don't know what would have happened in a penalty shootout. But, I mean, mate, I was a bit worried. When I seen Aspie pick the ball up, I don't know if that was mind games from... I don't know if it was mind games from Aspie, but he's picking that ball up. And I'm thinking, shit, Aspie's not taking a pen, is he? Sure, he can't be. But no, he gives it to Kai. And fair play to Havertz. I've got to be honest, mate. We were saying when we were watching the game that he was quite poor. I actually did think Havertz had a fairly average to poor game. I really do. But in the big moments, Champions League final, Kai Havertz is a big game player. He steps up in big moments. And this is a pressure penalty. It really is. And he steps up and he sends the keeper the wrong way. Really nice pen. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I mean, and there's also a red card. There's also a red card at the end as well. Havertz through on goal, and Luan just hacks him down. I mean, to be honest, made no difference to the result. And great to see those trophy celebrations. And mate, just a quick word on Azpilicueta. He's now won it all at Chelsea. The first player in Chelsea history to win every single trophy. I mean, just a quick word on him, mate. I mean, obviously John Terry is probably the greatest captain in Chelsea's history, but he never won it all. Aspie is the most successful captain in the club's history now. I mean, just a quick word on him. How important was it for him on a personal note to get this one done? Probably the last opportunity for him to do it.
Probably was the last opportunity for him to do it. And I think like, I don't know how it is that you would try and stack up Aspie as a Chelsea captain versus maybe John. I don't think it's necessary.
No, he's not a better captain. No, but he's.
I don't think it's necessarily something that we need to do because they're so different.
No, but he's more successful than JT in terms of winning trophies. He's won everything.
As someone who has contributed to the club through not just his play but also his spirit, you think about him in the dressing room, incredible, and I'm incredibly happy for him. He deserves it. And he's a fan favorite, and you can see age in a way catching up with him, and you can see that Reece James is more than ready to step into that space. But while he's here, and given Reece James's injury, it's great that Dave's been stepping in. It's great, and it's great that Dave's been stepping in the way that he has, and the fact that he was able to play the game tonight and get that final box tick done as Chelsea captain is pretty incredible.
It's mad.
Has anyone else done that at a club?
Won everything. I can't think off the top of my head. I think Wayne Rooney's probably won everything at Manchester United. I think, in fact, I'm pretty certain he's won everything there.
Another question, ATN, is Kante okay? Interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Kante okay? I'm not sure what's happened to him, but I think he's fine. But yeah, there's another two players have got an opportunity to win everything there is to win at Chelsea. End of this month, Carabao Cup final. If we were to win, Kante and Marcus Alonso, of all people, would complete the set of winning everything at Chelsea. So there's another couple of players that could join Azpilicueta there, but
it's the success we've had as a club.
The success is, honestly, it's mind-blowing. I know the big ones, the Premier League, and I still think we're quite a long way from winning the Premier League. I really do think we are. But in terms of cup competitions, we keep churning it out and we keep winning, but we don't have that consistency for a league challenge yet. And I think that's what the fans want to see. Yeah, look, we love winning the cups. We love winning trophies, but the league's the bread and butter, week in, week out. It's what you live for, every weekend. But we haven't put a challenge together for a good number of years now. That is the next big step for this side, and the next big thing for Thomas Tuchel to put together is to get a challenge for the league going. Because at the moment we're miles off. I really do think we're miles off the league.
I kind of agree.
Which for all the success we're having as a club, it's a little bit depressing that we're still so far off in the league. I think Liverpool and City are clear of us in terms of the league, but in terms of cup competitions and one-off games, I do still think we're one of the very best sides around.
Yeah, I completely agree, and also I think it's important to remember what it is that it takes to be in contention to win this Premier League. It's mad. Okay, so let's think about a side in Europe that not currently in the Prem that is good enough to come into the Premier League and win it.
Not many. Maybe Bayern Munich. Probably not. I wouldn't say anyone else.
It's where it's at. So you're asking us to be at the very, very top of world football, and the expectation of us is to be there and to be challenged for a title. And a lot of us, including myself, felt as though that was this season, but it's clearly not. It's clearly not.
It's not.
Yes, we were unfortunate in December, but really we haven't shown the quality.
We haven't.
It hasn't really got together yet.
No, obviously it's a conversation for another day. But that's the next big step. I mean, the Club World Cup is in the bag. A very, very poor. It was a poor game as a spectacle, but finals often are. It's just about getting the job done, and we got the job done, which is fantastic. Delighted for Thomas Tuchel as well. Another trophy for Chelsea. That's now 3 trophies in just over a year: Champions League, Super Cup, and Club World Cup. Now, hopefully, he can add a 4th for the League Cup at the end of this month. But let's quickly get into some player ratings. We'll rattle through them. One that I forgot to mention at the top of the show. Mendy coming in for Kepa. How did you feel about that?
I don't know. I guess happy. I guess I felt as though that was the right thing, but it always feels harsh. Kepa didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, maybe against City he could have done. Maybe Edu's height would have got him closer to De Bruyne's shot, and that maybe would have been something. But apart from that, he's been flawless.
I mean, to be honest,
he pulled off a bang.
Yeah. I do think ultimately, though, it's harsh, but this is a final, and Kepa is the number 2 goalkeeper at the end of the day. And when the big trophies are on the line, Mendy's going to play, and that's just the way it is. I think Kepa will definitely play the League Cup final. He's the keeper for that competition. He played every single round. I think it'd be very, very harsh if he didn't play that. I think he will play that. I would have picked him for this game, but I can totally see why Mendy was picked. 2 trophies in less than a week for Mendy, following up last weekend's success in the African Cup of Nations with Senegal. This guy is a trophy-winning machine. I've seen a ridiculous stat. I won't bring it up on the screen because I'll have to take this one off. But in Mendy's Chelsea career, he's averaged a trophy every 21 days. And that's mad. The guy was unemployed about 7 years ago.
What's that? Every 3 weeks?
Every 3 weeks, guys averaging a trophy at the Chelsea. I mean, what a time to be alive for him. But in terms of his performance today, mate, not an awful lot to do. A couple of saves with shots from distance from Palmeiras, but I mean, obviously, didn't save the penalty. Can't really hold that against him. But ultimately, you know, a fairly quiet day between the sticks for Mendy. I can't really give him more than a 6 because it didn't really warrant more than that because he didn't really have a lot to do. How did you see it?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, what can you say? I didn't feel threatened by by any Palmeiras' attacks. I felt as though they lacked sharpness, lacked teeth, lacked threat. I don't know. I felt it was kind of. I called it. I knew that pen was going to Edu's left, and I felt it was kind of telegraphed with his body movement. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how. He obviously knows better than I do, but I felt I don't know. I felt like Edu was going to call that, but anyway, whatever. Can't beat him up for that.
No. And yeah, a solid game from him, really. And it's what you expect from the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. We're blessed to have 2 world-class goalkeepers. And Mendy, again, stepping up, proving why he is one of the best. Moving to the back 3, the same back 3 that started the semi-final. This is our best back 3. These are our 3 best defenders at the football club. Let's start with Andreas Christensen. I thought he had a good game in a semi-final. I thought another solid game today. Not an awful lot of defending for them to do, but I mean, when called upon, he was decent. I know he went off. I think he went off after the 90. He was cramping up quite a lot, but I thought this was a solid performance from him. I'll probably give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what Christensen does, doesn't it? He's not a Rudiger where like he puts in these kind of titanic defensive performances that are really big. He's more of a smooth, quiet operator, and who goes about his business in a more orderly fashion. And they're a good partnership in that regard. So yeah, I'd say 6.5.
Yeah, I think 6.5 is fair. Moving on to Thiago Silva. Honestly think, mate, this guy is one of the best free transfer signings in history. Certainly one of the best signings Chelsea have ever made. 37 years of age. Another trophy in his cabinet. Named player of the tournament as well. I thought he was superb tonight. Like, first half, he was coming high up the pitch, you know, getting the ball high up, trying to make things happen, linking the attack and stuff. Defensively, very solid. His experience, and I mean, I run out of superlatives for this guy. I thought he was excellent. So I'll probably give him a 7.5. I mean, it's so good that we've extended him for another year for next season. But I mean, he was outstanding again. I really thought he was special.
I can't really get my head around it. I guess the thing that amazes me the most about Thiago Silva's involvement in the club, yeah, the performances are just so much more than what you'd expect for someone his age. No matter, regardless of the career that he's already had, is his commitment and his involvement. You know, he goes to watch Chelsea women's play. You know, he watches some of the youth club, some of the youth games.
Mate, he loves Chelsea.
Mate, he's so into it. I don't know if he was like that at PSG. I don't know if that's just who he is, but he's so into this club. Like, he feels like he really loves it, and I'm surprised and I'm warmed by that. And that makes just as much of a difference for me as a fan as his performances on the pitch. I love that. I love that.
So would you agree with the 7.5?
Yeah. Sorry, I went off on one there. Yes. 7.5 is cool.
Moving on to Antonio Rudiger. I love, mate. Chelsea fans love this guy. I thought today, not an amazing game. He was definitely above average. I mean, I'm maybe looking at a 7 for Rudiger. A couple of shots from distance, defended well when called upon, and as always, a really important part of that back line. But just one of those games, nothing bad, but nothing sort of spectacular. Just really solid. I mean, I think a 7's fair.
Not a lot to do. I think 7's fine. It's like I say, you know, this wasn't really a game about our defence.
No, 7 for Rudiger. Let's move on to the captain, Azpilicueta. We've just been singing his praises. This was okay from him. What I would say was, second half particularly, there was no width down the right-hand side whatsoever. And the width was meant to come from him, and it just wasn't really there. But
there's not a game that goes by where you don't miss Reece James.
Yeah.
And Chile. But you're just always thinking about the fact that, God, man, I wish we had our wing backs.
Yeah. Aspie just isn't it, a wing back. But like the guy is an absolute club legend. He's won it all, as we've said. But yeah, I mean, there were times where he was a bit missing going forward, but I thought he was defensively solid. And I mean, what more can you ask for? I'd probably give him a 6. He was definitely above average.
Yeah, I'd say so. And you need a guy out there in games like this to get you over the line.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. Moving to the other side, Callum Hudson-Odoi, we did touch on him. Obviously, in that left wing back position, didn't have a lot of defensive work to do, so it was almost like having an extra attacker on the pitch. For first half, he was quite poor. He struggled to get into the game, was giving the ball away. Set piece delivery wasn't good. Second half, he was better, but he had the one real moment of quality for the first goal. A fantastic ball into the box for Lukaku to head home. And that's what he does have in his locker. And we need those moments. But I mean, apart from that, yes, he worked hard. He tried, but it wasn't great from him at all, was it really? I mean, would I give him more than Aspie? Probably just because I think a 6.5, just because he put that really good assist in.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't know how much he likes left wing back.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah, probably not very much. In fact, I know that he doesn't like it very much. But not that I've spoken to him, but in like, we
yeah,
just
when you're an attacking player, you don't want to be playing in a defensive position.
exactly. So I don't think it suits him, and I think he's looking forward as much as we are to the return of our wing backs. But yeah, I think I've got a lot of love for Callum, and as I say, I think he's simmering on the edge. I think one big performance, one big goal, one big impact game is, and we're moments away from seeing the full version.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Again, it was another assist, a goal contribution, but yeah, definitely he'll be looking forward to getting a little bit further up the pitch. Moving into the midfield too, then there was no J5 today in the double six pivot. Kante from the off, Kante who was dreadful in that second half against Al Hilal. He was better today. I didn't think he was that great. I've got to be perfectly honest. I didn't think Kante was that good today.
What's going on with him? It's been the last 3 games really, where I don't know, we've been spoiled. We just basically
we have been spoiled. Yeah,
do no wrong. Basically, Kante is just this angel who has been sent to our club and literally puts in incredible performance after incredible performance. And we know that he's been struggling with injuries, and I think we've got to cut appropriate slack where appropriate, but he's been lacking in the last few games. I don't know if he's carrying injuries. I don't know what his fitness state is like. I know he's been in and out of the side because of his fitness, but it's tough to see in a way. And yes, we've been spoiled, but I still think he's got more of that in him. So I look forward to his return to form.
I mean, what do you think today? I mean, I think he was
5,
just above average. I was going to say 5.5. I think he was. I think he was a. Actually, no, you are right. It's not criticising him, but we have to call it how it was. He was average, and it's as simple as that. He was average today. Moving on to the other midfielder. Sorry, in that too, Matteo Kovach, fantastic in the semi-final, man of the match. He wasn't as good today. He worked hard. He did well. This formation doesn't suit him as much as the 4-3-3, because the 4-3-3 allows him to play almost more of an 8, and that does suit him a lot better. But I thought he was influential in the goal. It was his drive forward and his pass out to Callum Hudson-Odoi that set up the first goal. I thought he was okay, mate. I'd probably be prepared to give Kovacic a 7.
Yeah, I think I would too. His drive forward for the goal is just what he does.
Crucial, yeah.
He offers that dynamism in the centre of the pitch for us. Kante offers that as well at his best. You've seen a little bit more of that this season, of Kante driving the ball forward and getting into space. I just felt like there was so much space for us in the middle of the park. Thiago Silva pitched up, he goes all the way up to the halfway line and beyond, and there's a ball on straight into Lukaku's feet.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that enough. And there was also that space for Kovacic to kind of utilise. He could have done it more. I think he did it well when he chose to, certainly for the goal. And ultimately, it's that bit of quality that put Hudson-Odoi into the space that made the difference in this game. So yeah, I think 6.5, 7's accurate and fair. So respect.
I mean, let's move on to. Mason Mount. He started. He played maybe 15 minutes or so. I think we can't really. we can't really give him a rating for that because, yeah, we'll just give him an NA. Christian Pulisic came on for him again. I was surprised that Hakim Ziyech didn't come on at that moment. Pulisic, I thought he did okay. He had a couple of opportunities. He looked lively, looking like he could make a few bits happen. It was one of those performances where he was simmering on looking like doing something without really doing anything. It was a big opportunity for him today. I thought he didn't influence the game in the way that I perhaps would have liked him to have done. Should he have done better? Yes, he probably should have done. But it was by no means awful. He was involved. He was involved in the play. A couple of opportunities, as I said. But I mean, I'm struggling to give Pulisic more than a 6 really on this one.
Yeah, couple of good chances, weren't there?
Yeah.
He I feel as though he deserves a 6 because I love seeing him take players on. That's what.
Yeah, he's quite direct. Yeah.
That's what he has to offer. His close control is fantastic, and he's got brilliant feet. And when he does take people on, he's able to beat them. I love it. You know, it's great to see, and it's what we all want to see him doing. And there's been a kind of lack of that this season and last season. So we'll see what happens in his future, and I'm excited to see a little bit more of what we saw a glimpse of today. But definitely room for improvement. Chances that he really should be making more of.
No, 100%. Let's move on to Kai Havertz, the eventual match winner. Obviously, ice cool from the spot. Fantastic to get that winning goal. Takes big bollocks to step up in a moment like that. So fair play to him. But, mate, I've got to be honest. In the game, mate, we were sitting there watching it on a TV. He was frustrating. Like, it was misplaced passes. Every time he tried to do a pass, it would go against the defender. It just frustrating because, you know, there's ability there, massive ability, but we're just not seeing it on a consistent basis. And it was one of those frustrating performances from Kai. He gets the winning goal, which is great. But I mean, if you take that away and you look at his overall performance, it was at best, I have to say, it was average.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's a kind of it's tough with Kai. We've spoken about it before. He's one of these languid players. He's one of these sort of chilled out Berbatov style dudes, Ozil, who moves in a particular way and operates in a particular way where if they're not executing, it looks as though they're not asked and it looks as though they're weak.
Yeah.
Lack strength, lack conviction, lack decisiveness. Well, really, it's just how they move. It's the languid nature of their play. So it's difficult to, I don't know, it's a little bit harder to critique a player like that because their failures look as though or it sometimes looks as though he's not that bothered. But you know that he is. It was tough viewing a lot of his play. He gives the ball away. He gets sort of overpowered in possession. But when the time came, he stood up. And that was as opinions you'll see. You know, serious.
Yeah, and it's winning goals in Champions League final and Club World Cup final. I mean, in the big moments, he has come up trumps, but overall play today wasn't great. But he did get the winning goal. So I mean, for a rating, I mean, it's a 7. I think a 6.5. I would have given him a 5.5.
I think 6.5 or 6 is probably fine.
I think a 6.5 is fair. Just an extra 0.5 from Pulisic just because he scored the winner. And to round out the player ratings, the big man Romelu Lukaku. Again, 2 goals in this Club World Cup tournament. Fantastic for him. Good for his confidence. Hopefully he can push on from there, as we touched on earlier in the show. Took the goal really well. Great centre forward play for that header. And he came alive after that, but he was shortly subbed off after the goal, which I thought was a shame.
So weird.
I mean, in terms of his overall performance, I thought he struggled to get into the game, to be honest. There wasn't a lot for him to feed off. He was feeding off scraps, really. And then the one good bit of service he did get, he put away. But, I mean, otherwise, it was... I mean, he scored, which is what you want from your main centre forward. But other than that, he wasn't involved too much, but not really through too much fault of his own. I didn't think today.
Yeah, no, I don't know. His form's patchy, no doubt.
Yeah,
and he's not playing the football that we know that he can play and that we signed him for. I think that's part him and part the way he's being serviced by the side. But I think that his part is, definite. His part in his form is central, and it's lacking at the moment. So we'll have to see how that really works out. With regards to, his goal, well taken. You know that he can do that. It's basically, why we have him in the side. And then you sort of start to see, oh, hang on, Rom's got a little bit of a swagger about him. Rom suddenly looks, a few inches taller. He's starting to take up better positions in the box, laying off, feel as though he's about to roll a player and shoot, and then get going. And he got taken off. And I just thought it was a bizarre decision. I think you'd probably give him a 6.5 or a 7.
Maybe I was gonna give him a 6.5. Probably the same as Havertz, I think.
Yeah, I don't think his game was actually that good. I don't think he played
but
particularly well. I think it's a continuation of some of his patchy form, but good goal.
Great goal. And ultimately, that's what he's in the side for. I don't care if Lukaku does nothing all game. If he gets one chance and he scores, that's job done.
Sure.
It's kind of as simple as that for me. But yeah, it was better from him. And this could be a big breakthrough moment. It's been a good tournament for him. I know it's only been a couple of games, but it's definitely been positives. But yeah, I mean, not so many high ratings. So I don't think anyone was particularly standout. But at the end of the day, it was just about getting the trophy home and in the cabinet. And that's exactly what we've done. So yeah, that's just myself and Kit's thoughts on the games and the player ratings. Guys, as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments and the chat if you agree or disagree with us. I'll just take that off the screen. But yeah, I mean, ultimately stressful, but a successful evening, a successful week away in Abu Dhabi and Dubai for the Chelsea world champions. As we said at the top of the show, we've won it all. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate all of you for watching live. If you're going to watch it back, hope you enjoy it. Please do smash a like on this video. Please click that subscribe button as well. Looking to hit 400 subscribers by the end of this month. We're on the road to 400. So if you're not subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. It really helps myself. It helps the channel out a lot, and appreciate all of the support. Again, thanks for tuning in. Great way to start the weekend by becoming world champions. We've done it. All the trophies are in the bag now. We march on to the League Cup final in a couple of weeks' time. And guys, we'll catch you again soon in the next couple of days. Take care.
Much love.